Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming to our tech talk here of Ask the Experts. You are coming to see what rooms you should take a look at from the Microsoft Teams offering from Poly. If you're looking here to find out what rooms to specify and how to specify that space, you're in the right place. On the team and on the call here, we have Jay McArdle. Hi, from Poly. I'm the product director of technology partners. We've got Michael Tressler from Microsoft, Jimmy Vaughn, and Tony Woodruff. So a couple things, how to engage. Just make sure that you use the Q&A to ask us questions. Questions will appear to all, and we'll answer the questions that we can verbally back to everybody in here, and we'll try to get to the ones that we can't get to on live later to you in a later session, in a later chat. Etiquette, this is going to be recorded, so please don't spam the Q&A and adhere to the code of conduct. Just be kind is the main thing that we ask. So here's the digital code of conduct. Read it at your leisure here. It's also available in the chat window if you need to go through and look at that. So one of the things that we're really excited about from Poly today is the launch of our solutions for every room. So this is a big deal for us here at Poly. We wanted to make sure that we had a clear market message on that we have every one of your rooms covered. So for the small, like focus, small, medium, and the large room, we do have a solution, whether it's a Windows-based solution or an Android-based solution. But we went through and really tried to hone what we're offering today with some new exciting offerings from Dell, and to pair what the market needs and to make it a clear message to how to pick the rooms that you need, just so that you can pick the rooms, get the technology out of the way, and just start meeting. So with that, we're going to start the session here. So,
you know, I'll start, Jay. It's funny, you know, how many of us have seen all of the announcements that happened at Ignite today? I mean, there are so many new things that are coming. I see Michael's hand up. I know that Tony has a whole bunch of stuff. We've got a lot to get to, whether it's your questions or even just talking about the things. One of the things, Michael and Tony, and Jay, that I was really, really excited about today was actually more layouts coming to Teams rooms. That's one of the things that I know that I get a lot from customers is, when are we going to get more layouts? When are we going to get some of these dual screens? And even the dynamic view that's coming for Microsoft Teams. Some of these things are really, really exciting because these are coming to Teams rooms. And if you bought Teams rooms 2 years ago, or you're actually looking at them now, or you're going to actually be purchasing them soon, and you've got your favorite Poly devices inside of the room itself, all of these things are coming as software updates. And it's exciting that actually these will get better over time. And as we see today, there's more and more newness that's actually coming to these solutions. So whether you're choosing the Android solution or the Windows solution, Jay actually had a great slide up there that was showing it. Poly's done a nice job of actually outputting these into small, medium, and large rooms. That fits with what we do here at Microsoft, and fits into those categories. But now we've actually got options, and we've got a whole bunch of different things that are coming. But like I said, there's a whole bunch of new features that were added here at Ignite, and I think we've got a lot to talk about. Tony and Michael, you guys have done boot camps on the Android side where we talk about how easy these things are to get out, and how we think that there's a large amount of rooms that are coming for our customers very, very soon. And we've got some questions coming in about large rooms on the Windows MTR side. What is the Poly solution for the audio on the large room side? Well, Jay, you've got a whole bunch of different solutions that are coming out, not only that are new, but also are sort of there for a while. We've talked about Poly and their bars, the X50 and the Studio and the P15s and those kind of things. For a large room solution, Jay, I think it's just as easy to sort of integrate with the Poly solution as it is many of the other solutions that we have as well.
Absolutely. On the Poly solutions, we have the Sync 60, which is a USB speakerphone that's a fantastic device that's just recently been released. We also have the Trio C60. You know, it's been out in the market for a little bit, but is a great USB device. Gives you the speakerphone at the center of the table. Both of those are center of the table solutions that provide fantastic quality audio, echo cancellation, all of those things, just to really complement what Microsoft is doing. And we can plug it right into the GC8 with USB, so we still have that single cable going back. and it makes it just a really simple install. It's simple to support, and really high quality.
And Tony, I'm gonna put this actually question to you. It's what somebody's asking actually, what is the difference between the Android and the Windows-based room systems? And it's funny, you can take this from a whole bunch of different perspectives. From my side, I like to look at it as the Android solutions are actually sort of an all-in-one. You get the camera, you get the microphone, you get the speakers, while the Windows are actually able to be sort of put out there and sort of modularized. So if you look at what Poly has in the new camera that they have, the E70 that's coming out to be certified soon, that's something that could be modularized. And in my mind, that's one perspective to look at it, but I'm sure that we have other ways to look at it too.
Yeah, I mean, and we've recently published some guidance that compares the feature set between the Windows-based MTRs and the Android-based, right? Which was a huge amount of feedback that we got from customers that they wanted to be able to do that side by side comparison there. You know, the way I think of the differences between the Windows-based and the Android is absolutely the same as you, Jimmy, which is, you know, the Windows-based is modular. You know, you can choose the compute, you can choose the camera. You know, Poly have got an amazing you know, set of different components that you can have here to support those different kinds of rooms. You know, and Jay showed how they align into those different room types earlier on. But you know, it's, for me, the Android is that all-in-one. It's that nice, I can put it in a room, and the complexity's reduced quite a bit, right? Because it is just all built in. So hopefully that lines up, Jimmy, with what you were going to ask me there.
I think it's perfect. And I see that Sean Davies actually has another question for us. And Michael, I know this is one favorite topic that you and I deal with a lot. When we'll be able to join MTRs to other meeting types, such as Zoom? So direct guest join is actually the answer. And the good part is Zoom and WebEx have been out for a while. Michael, we have two new ones. I don't know if you want to sort of jump in and introduce those two as well. I see you're on mute right now, so you know, I need a T-shirt that says you're on mute so that we can get off mute.
I have one.
Do you have one? What you put a shirt on, Tony? Come on, join the club.
I know, but yeah, sorry. Direct gets joined. There's two new ones.
Yeah, Tony, you need to join the club. Like GoTo and Blue Jean have joined the direct guest join club. So we can now, now today we can do two. So what happens is you go to this is Teams Rooms Windows. As we're sitting here today, the question may have been Teams Rooms Android, and my answer is it's coming. That's been announced. I don't know the date, but it's coming. Tony, if you know something more specific, chime in. But essentially what happens is you just forward the meeting invite. So if somebody sends you a Zoom meeting invite, just forward it to Teams Rooms at resource account, and it'll show up on the join mailbox. There are a few things you have to do. Check the docs article on a few things to make sure that everything's set up right. But essentially then you have your Teams meeting, GoTo meeting. And then right underneath there, you know, a Cisco meeting, and just click the one touch join. You're in. You have some of the controls. You don't have the full feature set. Content camera, some of the stuff that is unique to Teams aren't supported by everyone. Everyone has their own unique features. So you get the common feature set, the basics, but the basics in 95% of all meetings are what you need. And if you need more than the basics, how about you schedule it as a Teams meeting next time?
Yeah, that's the great thing. You're solving 98% of your organization's solutions because you're a Teams house and you're actually putting in Teams meetings. Tony, I mean, you and I both know you can send a Zoom meeting to the Teams room and join that. And that's the key to this.
Yeah, I mean, and it's about having that device accessible to all those different platforms, right? You know, everything's driven around that user. I mean, to what Michael was talking about just a second ago with the direct guest join for the Android side, the GA that's tracking for that at the moment, and it is on roadmap.office.com. I'll post a link in the Q&A so everybody can get access to that. It's tracking for December today. Right, at the last update. So you know, it's going to be really exciting to have that capability that's today in MTR on Windows coming across to the Android for Zoom and WebEx, because you know everybody, you know, is joining more and more meetings all the time, regardless of what platforms it's on. You know, if it's on Teams, great, but we do join meetings that are on other systems and cloud platforms, as we know, right? And having that accessibility there and that friction-free join is really, really important.
Makes it so much easier.
Hey, as we're starting to talk Android, I want to take this question from John. who wants some recommendations, and then actually Jay, you can jump in. Maybe maybe it's really for Jay. Recommendations for video and audio solutions for Teams rooms, camera speakers, etc. for about 10 people. So my initial thought on that is Teams rooms and Android. Great for smaller size spaces, but Jay, I'll toss it over to you. What kind of Poly solutions are for that kind of 10-person SMB audience?
Yeah, no, fantastic. No, the Studio X50, the all-in-one collaboration bar in that medium-sized room would get you a great video experience with the EPTZ camera, find people in the room, has fantastic audio system, fantastic microphones and speakers, super easy to deploy. Put the one device on the wall right by the TV, point it at the room. Yep, there we go. We have Vanna over there giving us a great demo of the product. And so, but absolutely, that would be fantastic in the Android world, and even in the Windows world, the Studio USB, paired as with a Dell compute, with a Lenovo compute, is going to pick you up really well. It's going to have 4K camera, again, do the speaker tracking, have high quality audio. And as we get into the larger, if we wanted to get super tight framing, E70, is a product coming from Poly that is a fantastic dual camera system, 220 megapixel cameras on it, get you super tight shots, give great quality of video.
And Tom actually had a question in the chat too, which is a great thing to sort of transition us into the talking about front row. He asked with things like front row, which if you haven't seen front row, that's one of the layouts that actually has been around for a couple of months now. It sort of features, and Tony and Michael both have it on their backgrounds that you see, where the gallery's on the bottom, you've got agenda, you've got chat, and he asked with something like front row, will older cameras or older room systems or those kind of things, will they become sort of obsolete or something like that? And the answer is no. Microsoft is actually making front row as an option to things. And if you want something like the E70, this is why we were talking about the difference between Windows and Android, where Windows is actually like a modular system. You can design your rooms using Microsoft guidance and make sure that you're sort of designing these rooms in parallel with the guidance that we have. And then if you want the new features like front row, where the E70 can actually break out into 4 different video quadrants, if you want something like that, now you can sort of put that into your Windows room as a modular device. Doesn't mean that your old camera doesn't still work and doesn't still function as a Teams room. It just means that if you want those new features that are coming on the new systems, you don't have to sort of rip and replace the whole thing. It's a modular design, so you can actually put them in. To Jay's point, there's a whole bunch of smaller rooms, and that is where Microsoft sees the big room boom coming, where we actually see in this transition to hybrid work that more spaces are going to be needed, but more spaces are going to be needed for those smaller spaces. So I think that's really where we see a lot of things coming. And Tony and Michael, you guys have sort of talked about how we approach a space and how we go through and we say, this is a good system for this. And right now, it seems like Android is good for those smaller spaces, but that may not be true in the future, where there's going to be some devices that are going to be sort of brought to market for those larger spaces, and then you're going to have a choice. Where do I want to actually manage my systems? Is it on Windows or Android?
I mean, I think, if we look at front row and all the announcements that we made, similar. This is the background that Jimmy was referring to just here. We're changing we're trying to change the life cycle of the meeting, right? Being able to have the agenda on the side is really important. Yeah, being able to see the chat on the screen as well. Having that whole life cycle of the meeting within the room, as well as bringing it on par with people that are remote, like many of us are now. That's the sweet spot for all of this, right? Because we are in this hybrid world now. You were talking about it just a second ago, Jimmy, when it's not going away anytime soon, right? Because we've got used to it as the new normal, right? We don't want that commute anymore. And it gives us a lot more flexibility than we had previously, right? And I'm super excited to see this. You've heard Jay talk about that the 70 camera there, and it's really cool where this is all headed. And I'm, as I say, I'm really, really excited. My wife will probably call me sad if she walked in now, because I've got so many devices on my desk upstairs. But yeah, it's a really, really exciting time in the meeting room space, and it's driven by innovation with our partners here, right? So
I do like that we got a question from Jimmy's hair in the Q&A right now, but I'm actually going to go to a question from Steve S. And Steve actually asked, when will HDMI ingest be coming to the Android devices in Teams mode? And the truth is, yes, we're working with Poly. We're going to introduce the HDMI ingest. But Michael, you and I talk about this all the time. What's the best way to actually share content into a Teams room? Through Teams.
Through Teams.
Through Teams. I understand that HDMI might be a way to do it, but in the interim, while you're waiting for that feature to come through, there's no reason to not share through Teams.
And Jimmy, let me well, because I'm on camera now, I see.
Yeah.
So I'll just take over real quick. And let's not forget about casting. Casting is a new feature as well to get things into a meeting. So if you're not familiar, just Bing it, go cast Teams rooms. But essentially what happens is you bring your mobile device, Android or iOS, you bring it into the office. And if you need to share pictures with a coworker and we're supposed to keep a distance from them, just go into the conference room. Down at the bottom of Teams, you might even break out your mobile device. You may have not even noticed you had this icon. Scroll up, click Cast. It'll then search for a Teams rooms in the neighborhood. I think even Surface Hub. And you say, hey, I'm in this room. Click it, and now your mobile phone, what the mobile phone shows, it's shown on the screen inside that conference room. So now you're using those larger monitors instead of huddling around a phone. So HDMI ingest, yes, it's coming soon. Some vendors have it already. Poly's is coming very soon. I know it's there. I don't want to commit dates, but I saw a thread on it earlier today, so it's on its way. But casting is another thing to consider, as is just join the Teams meeting and share your screen.
Yeah, I think that's a way, and too many people sort of get stuck on, oh, you don't have this. Well, there are ways around it, and my favorite way to teach people and to sort of put information inside of the room, Jay, is actually just to put that table tent that says, let's share through Teams, and let's make sure that we can do that, because that feature is always going to be there, whether you're on the room system, on a personal device, or on a mobile device.
But I mean, let's think about the sharing there a little bit with. If you're sharing with a desktop share, which many of us have been used to for quite some time, we've got the features there with PowerPoint Live, right? Which takes things to that next level, makes things richer. And it's that whole thing of where we would typically desktop share within a room. People can't pace through the content. There's additional goodness within PowerPoint Live that makes everybody on par with that same experience, right? We're in my part of Microsoft, we're using PowerPoint Live all the time now. It is the default. If I share my desktops, then I get some pings of encouragement from various different people across my team asking me why I wasn't using it, right? But it's breaking habit, I think, Jimmy, right? We've all been, when many of us have been in the game with LCS and all that kind of stuff back in the day, we've just been used to doing that application share or that desktop share, right?
And I think you hit it on the head. It's just one of those things. I actually was speaking to a customer today who actually went back into the office and sort of forgot what it was like inside of a meeting room. If you think of the past meeting room experiences and everything, they're difficult. And if you go back to the office and you go back to difficult, this customer was actually using another platform system, and they didn't schedule the meeting correctly. And if you go back and it's one of those alternative meeting platforms and you don't have the ability to actually meet, yeah, these are difficult. Think about how short time ago it was complicated dial strings, it was pin codes, it was all of these different things that happened inside of a conference room. Now we're here, we've all joined this meeting through a single touch join. It really gets that easy. And as you put these Teams rooms in and you use the devices from Poly, it really becomes a cohesive experience where you're going from your personal devices to your shared spaces, and it's seamless for the users. IT managers and conference room managers have always had the challenge, well, how do we do this? And if you can solve, we talked about this before, if you can solve that 98% of your problems in the conference room just by doing Teams meetings, then let's make sure that we're getting that 98% satisfied, and it's easy to move from and transition from your personal devices to your shared spaces, and it's that cohesive experience of Teams itself.
Hey Jay, you ready to be on camera? I got two questions came in from one from Walt and Joe. It's basically the same question. Does Paul MTR for large rooms that need to control multiple cameras, microphones, displays, and how do you approach large all hands spaces? What's Poly got for us?
Yeah, so right now we're going through to work with some of our partners. With Extron in particular is a great partner for us that we can start to get out into an Extron ecosystem, launch their link license on there so that we can then control the different cameras and issue commands to those cameras and leverage those third-party integrations. I think that there's a question up above as well that's asking about the large rooms in X50 and X70 of how to get systems, how to get things into those systems. Those systems we can get in via USB. So we've certified solutions by our friends over at Shure, over at QSC, working with Biamp right now in the background to make sure that we can get that and making sure that we can do all of those things that everybody expects from a Teams room, right? With the functionality of the LED sync and the volume and keeping everything together so that you have that great experience from start to finish. And Extron's been a great partner too on the Android world, so that they have the link license available on the Android world, so that we can get into those complex spaces and do the more complex video matrices and audio DSPs. So we've been partnering. Is that the short answer to that?
All right. Anybody else have a question we need to go at?
I want to talk about a couple of the features that were actually brought up at Ignite this today as well. Think about the ability to lock multiple, to spotlight and to pin multiple people on these Teams rooms. Dynamic gallery view that's actually going to take the intelligence and the AI behind who's speaking and who was the last one to speak, and then populate these front of room displays. These are the kind of things that are really sort of impressive on the systems and sort of help everything that's going on. You know, Tony, Michael, we talk about the front row experience, and one of the things that I'm most excited for the front row experience is actually having the agenda and follow-up items. We've all been to those meetings, and I think everybody on this call will agree. You go to a meeting, you have the meeting, and nobody actually takes after action items to assign and everything else, which results in having a meeting about the previous meeting. So it's not only about, hey, let's make sure that these meetings are effective and everybody's collaborating. It's also about making meetings easier and making them more effective, which will, in essence, reduce the number of meetings that you actually have to go to. So something like Front Row that was out there, being able to spotlight and pin multiple participants inside of a meeting, while these things might just get a glance of a feature that's there and everything else, these are really important features that are there for those shared spaces. And being able to sort of bring that to the shared space is something that's important. And whether it's on Windows or Android, remember, we're trying to get the feature set as close as we can on both sides.
Hey, since you're mentioning new things, I want to make sure people don't miss session OD 103. What's new in Microsoft Teams management and security? There is a whole lot in there that was announced for Teams Admin Center, even things that I didn't know were coming. For example, workspace management. Like, what is workspace management? I don't even know what that is. But looking at these slides, I know what it is now. So right now in Teams Admin Center, everything's designed. You just have your phones and displays and Teams rooms, and then that's it. You see devices. Workspace management looks like it's going to be able to give you a hierarchy. I mean, the slides are out there to download. So it looks like you're able to build a hierarchy. So you can go like United States. I'm in Florida, so United States, Florida, Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, and then take all those devices and now manage them geographically. So not a device-focused view, but a room view. And then you can even bundle the Teams rooms, and so let's say there are two Teams panels outside the room. So you can put all of those together into one location. So that is coming. There's some more things coming on. Let's see, scroll up. A sign in and sign out. So for Android devices, right now we have provisioning, where you give a code to a remote tech and they type in the code, and then I can sign in that device remotely. What happens if that device gets signed out? Well, now I can just go to Teams Admin Center, or coming soon to Teams Admin Center, I can sign in. Similarly, if we're like, hey, we need to take that device out of service, I can just remotely sign out of that device. So that is coming. There's a lot of other things. I don't want to just sit here and read all of this, but make sure you take a look at that session. Tons of things. Oh, I forgot the most exciting one. I've heard rumors about this internally. It's now seen the light of day. Graph API for Teams Admin Center devices. And they show Graph API commands like get device list, get device configuration, post initiate device. So the ability to script to Teams Admin Center devices. Tony's laughing. Do you have anything to add?
There's a whole bunch of people that will be happy about that here at Microsoft.
There absolutely is. And that the workspace view that you were talking about there in Teams Admin Center, it's about making it flow a lot better and as you say, grouping those resources together. I will admit to you now, Michael, I did know about that one for a little while, and you know, we can obviously have the emotional chat about that later. That was keeping it from you, but yeah, we recognize that, you know, we need to evolve that Teams Admin Center experience, and that's absolutely the stepping stones in making TAC that front, square and center for managing the Teams devices, right? And I was laughing because somebody's neck called Jimmy's hair, and I just think that's amazing.
He's asking a lot of questions though. So.
Yeah, which is brilliant, right? Jimmy, they clearly come for your hair, right?
I know.
I know. See there, so I'm just jealous. So yeah, you'll see more as we step that through in the future with more announcements to follow on that. It's just we've had a lot of feedback, and rightly so.
But
I think I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sorry. We have 5 minutes. Okay. Just let you know the 5-minute warning, so people only have 5 minutes left to see your hair. Just so
perfect.
Yeah.
At least you have hair.
Yeah, I know, right? One of the things, so since we have 5 minutes left, I really just want to say, you know, Poly and Microsoft partner together on these devices. They've got a spectacular offering that's out there. One of the keys is actually that they have stock and they can ship these devices. So so make sure that you're actually getting with Poly, and make sure that you're actually going to look ahead to what you need for your return to the office. Too many people are waiting, and what's happening is that those that are waiting are finding that there's a challenge in actually obtaining some devices. But with Poly, you've got a great chance of getting some stock and some great product into your spaces as people return to work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Having the stock, right? Having great products first, right? That make sure that you can be seen, you can be heard, they're simple to use. All of those things are just key things. But one of the best abilities is availability, right? And to make sure that we can actually have it when you need to get back into your office, and make sure that you can be seen and heard professionally. That's key.
And we can't say enough thank you to our partners at Poly for helping us do these Teams rooms. We need partners who have the quality products that they do to make sure that all these Teams rooms are actually working the way that we envision them. And while we give guidance here at Microsoft and everything else, we look to the partners to actually function on those visions that we have and make sure that they're actually workable out there in the field.
Yeah, no, thank you. And we really appreciate our relationship with Microsoft. Appreciate you guys making the software to run on our hardware platforms, right? And making all the magic happen in the front row and all of the different ways to help make meetings easier.
And Jay, I think we're coming up on the hour here, and to Rick's point, we only have a couple minutes. You know, looking to get in more information and contact Poly, I think that there's a place that we can go to. But as always, if you got any questions, I know that Tony, Michael, Jay, and I are all active on LinkedIn and Twitter, and you can find us on the social media side if you've got questions, if you've got things that we haven't actually addressed here and you want to learn more about. We're always happy to help. That's what we're out there. We don't only preach this stuff, we love this stuff. And Tony, Michael, and I had that conversation the other day. We don't do this because, hey, we just, you know, have a job and everything else. We actually do it because we like it. And making meeting rooms easier is something that I love to do.
Absolutely. And you know, we in that conversation, I admitted that when one box turns up, I have to put a load of packaging into another box to go out to keep my wife, you know, happy, even though the box is empty. You know, and I just hide the devices in cupboards somewhere. So it's all good.
So many devices.
Oh yeah, but as you say, we love this stuff, right? And we have got some questions in the chat that we will respond to that we haven't taken live. You know, I'll hand back over to Jay to close this out, right?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Thank you everybody for participating. Thank you guys for your questions. Thank you guys for your engagement. Thank you guys for Love it on Poly, love it on Microsoft. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.